What's up, brothers and sisters? Coil here, Bulls on Wall Street. Dude, lots to uncover today in the United States stock market. We got multiple pieces of information that have come out. The market was weak today due to the Oracle earnings. Oracle got smoked on earnings. So let's dig into this. And then, of course, AVGO also did a big turnaround today and is getting smoked currently, putting some pressure on the AI stocks, the semiconductor stocks, and of course the QQQ. So let's dig into this and then the stocks that we want to watch for tomorrow, because even though this AI trade looks like it's flattening out for a period of time, there are some really good looking stocks, because the real story of the day is not that Oracle shit the bed or that AVGO is, because these are tired names and that trade is probably over for now. The real story is the IWM doing this. The IWM has broken out the highs and it is coiled up and ready to party, right? And I think that's the real story here, is that after all these failures of test, fade, we have finally held this bad boy, right? We've broken out and we had an opportunity even in the morning to kind of, it pulled back a little bit and then it just took off. We had multiple pieces of pullback in the morning where it was like, all right, we pull, and you're like thinking like, oh, here we go again. But every time it happened, support held. Every time it happened, support held. And so now we finished pretty much at highs and it's off to the races, I think. So that's the real story for me, at least as a day trader, that we want to be digging into. But let's just take a look real quick at Oracle. You can see here, they missed their earnings by just like a little bit, but it was already, a little bit is a lot, because now people are getting used to and starting to think about these fuzzy math numbers of how they're calculating, right, all their future earnings and all of this kind of stuff. And so there's some action that's happening in here. I do think that probably today was maybe close to a sell the news event on Oracle, and that, it just came down so much. So, you did have this decent sized bounce, but it's a leave alone for me because I'm a trend trader by nature. Let's take a look at AVGO here. We shorted this in the chat room at 418 and I totally fucked this up. So I shorted into this pop and we covered some down into here, but then when it popped up, I got out of the rest of it flat, and I didn't wait for the CC to start. I had to go and do some stuff, the Lord's work. And so as soon as I left, I'm talking like 2 candles, it was like bam, and then one of my students like, yo, AVGO, and I'm like, fuck, damn it. This has been happening all over the place. Like if you see even Oracle, it's not showing the pre-market data from earlier, but Oracle, oh, there it is. Right, it didn't do it, but you can see with Oracle, you also got a little bit of a pop, when it popped up yesterday, and then it tagged out. So just something to be kind of mindful of. These AI stocks are NVIDIA did the same thing, right? It gapped up, it hit a hot spot for a second, and then rolled over. And so I think this trade is just tired. I think AVGO is not really a long or a short. Look, most likely, if it really tanks, it'll get bought up, because that's just what's happening with these things. But I think it's a leave alone for a period of time. So let's dig into the watch list and what we got to do for this coming week. So, hold on here. A-Lab. Now, look, I like the look of this A-Lab. My worry on this is what? It's a semiconductor stock. So you got a nice wedge pattern over here if it breaks this trend line, but it's a semiconductor stock. So if the sector itself rolls over, then I think this will get weak. So far it's holding up, but that doesn't mean much. LULU had earnings out. I was posting this in the chat room and on Twitter. I thought these earnings looked pretty good. This is the difference between an expectation, right? So AVGO they beat on earnings, but it's been going up for years, right? So they beat on earnings, but it's been going up for years. So what happens is it tanks, right? Because everybody already knew they were going to do what they're going to do. There's no extra oomph to it, and so you get this thing. Where Lulu's been left for dead, and so they beat on their earnings just a little bit, like 5 million or 50 million, something like that. Well, you get a really good reaction. Why? It's been left for dead. It's neglected, and neglect is a big thing in trading. So just something to be mindful of as you go through this. I think SNDK, even though I think the AI trade is dead, these storage stocks don't look, even though they're an AI trade too, they look very good. If you look at SNDK in relation to WDC, which I've been posting about for a few days, which broke out, and STX, right, which broke out 4 or 5 days ago. And guys, these things are moving. I mean, 270, 310, 40 points. That's hot, man. Woo, that is hot. So just something to be mindful of. Like those can be something. So let's add in Lulu. Da-da. Hey, this NEM, like we're in this one for a swing trade. You're at the 100 spot here, man. I would love for this thing to just flag out for a day, and I think we can roll back into this thing. EXK, this is a silver stock that hasn't gone yet. Silver does need a little bit of a breather, guys. It needs a little bit of a breather. No getting around that. It's at the top of the Bollinger Band. I've been selling some of my positions in like pass and stuff like that, but I am interested in this EXK. If silver can just rest for a day or two, I think that would be a really nice one. Lemonade here looks friggin' fantastic. Nice flag breakout. You're like really right at the sweet spot. However you want to draw this, it does not really matter. Now this I like. This is not technically an IWM stock, but it's got an IWM feel to it, I think. You got a range break set up right here. Let's roll with that one. And this one I like too. Look at this. This had a piece of news out last couple of days, multiple pieces of news out. You got like a little bit of like almost like a W pattern here, I would call this, where it's like right, and you're taking out this neckline. You got a good spot right there. Let's see. This thing's got room. First stop 2050, then we'll see what's up on this thing. Hey, this is the one I was looking for. Look at this bad boy. Probably more of a swing setup than anything. It's an okay day trader, does 3 million shares volume, but if you look here at this weekly chart, right? If you look here in this weekly chart, let's get this. Let's play a little connect the dots here, a little just a tip. So started in 2022. We're going 2023, 2024. Hey, more me, right? That looked pretty good. We got Wolf Nation here, inside day today, which is actually really good. We want to see that. I think maybe tomorrow could be the day. CompX, 11 breakout. I got a trigger here at 1092 and one at 11. If it ever crushes through, I think that's going to be something. And then look, you got this LAAR. This one's got a good look to it, right? Like it's really coiled up. It's a metals play. Now look, lithium is a metal. I'm not that, my table of elements here, but I believe lithium is a metal. And man, you got a nice little coil pattern on this one. I thought this one looks better. I know some people like to play LAC. But if you look at the chart of this versus, look at the chart of that, I would say LAAR is, the way to go. So just something to kind of keep mind of as you do this. Guys, gold looks fantastic. I got some 390s that are starting to just get green. We've been talking about these 400 calls for quite some time. I think that's, something I'm looking to add to. If we get like maybe a little bit of weakness tomorrow, go out like maybe a month. Go out like a month. They're not too expensive right now. Dun, 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 dun. And look, Google is just, you know, you got two spots. Either it bounces off this 20 SMA or you're coming down to the 300. But you do want to be a part of this one. Out of all the big ones, I think this is the one because right now they're starting to smoke ChatGPT. So they're starting to get a little bit of oomph on it. I think everything else is okay here. I'm waiting to see if I can get a spot on Tesla. And the reason, I do think this is about the breakout here. It's time. It's been trailing for a year, 2 years or whatever. Year and a half, I should say. Right? But like, you're there. Let's see this thing play out. You know, this 400 was the all-time high. It got rejected. Now it's come back and, right? Like, it's there. If you look at the weekly chart, looks a lot better, right? And so my thinking is like, I don't want to hit it as it breaks because it's going to look extended. I want to try to look for clues on a shorter term basis that it's ready to do the Lord's work. So that's out of the large caps, Google, I think Tesla, I think those are going to be my two. So that's my 2 cents. I'm sticking with it. I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East. Smash some like buttons or, just retweet if you love big boobs. I love you guys. Peace.